There it is. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Our Parents' Basement. If you are tuning in on the YouTubes, then you cannot see my lovely face this evening. I'm experiencing some technical difficulties with my webcam, but I am here. You can hear me. You can see and hear my co-host. Of course, I'm talking about Jason. Jason, how's it going this evening?
And I'm excellent. I'm excited to do this again. It's been a while. We've been kind of spotty here lately with the new podcast with the live editions. So I'm glad to be back in the saddle again, if you will.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back too. This October is always a busy month. 2 weekends ago, I was in Austin for a annual type of pub crawl. That was fun, but it wore me out. And then as soon as we got home, we had to get ready for our Halloween party, and that wore me out. And then we had the Halloween party, and that really wore me out. And then we actually had Halloween, and which was celebrated by playing Dungeons and Dragons, which didn't wear me out, but you get where I'm going with this. It's been a busy month. I'm glad to be back here with you and to talk about some cool stuff. Before we get into it, how was your Halloween?
Let's see. Halloween. It pissed rain here.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yesterday. So it wasn't. We didn't do anything. The town, my town, they actually put Halloween. Moved it to the 30th. So we took actually, it was kind of nice. We just sent the boy out, kind of just kicked him and said, "Hey, go trick or treat," which actually that's not what happened. He's like, "Hey, can I go get Brooks?" Which is the kid across the street. Can I get Brooks and we just go trick or treating by ourselves? I'm like, yeah, you can.
You go ahead. I trust you.
I said, take your watch and just that way I can get a hold of you and don't talk to strangers. So except for go knock on their doors.
Yeah, except for
but like in our neighborhood, there's not really strangers. There's this neighborhood probably has about 16, 20 houses, something like that. So there's not really strangers. Everybody knows the kids and we know everybody. So it was nice. It was nice that he's old enough that I can just let him go. Him and his buddies get together and they can go trick or treat. And usually our town it's a big enough place that there's lots of kids, but it's small enough that they can. Main Street Batesville does a Halloween. They do a trick or treat in all the businesses. And there's a lot of older houses down there, and those people put on big, like they really get into decorating for Halloween. So every other year we've gone to Main Street, and you start at the top, and there's the churches and the businesses, and just like small town USA, the Main Street USA, that's what it is. And the kids do the trick or treating there. The newspaper said they had 6,000 kids there this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Small town has that many?
Well, it's not. It's all the surrounding towns.
Okay. Yeah.
You gotta when like y'all have you think a small town, you think Mayberry, and there's 15 kids. Batesville has it's a decent size. I don't know how many people are here. 12,000, something like that. It's not a big place, but then you got to think that we have Sulphur Rock, we have Cushman, we have Cave City, we have all these surrounding communities that might be 20 miles away, but all their kids go to downtown Batesville too. So it was really nice. It was really fun. We've always done that in the past. We just skimped out on that this year, and we did our own thing here. So it was nice. It was cool, and it's really great that he's old enough that I don't have to follow him around.
Yeah, because you can just chill and you trust him. Yeah, he's at the age. And,
Well, he's old enough that he can go have fun. And it was 7 o'clock. He was gone maybe 30, 45 minutes and came back with a bag of candy.
It rained here too, so that was kind of a bummer. But other than that, like we had our lights off. We didn't really feel like dealing with all that this year. So only heard the doorbell ring twice, and then they just kind of gave up and left. So some years I'm feeling it, some years I'm not, But
we had candy, and like those kids, I guess most of the kids in this neighborhood didn't trick or treat here either. They went to Main Street because we only had 2 kids.
Oh, wow.
I think most of the other houses here only had that many plus my kid. And so Isaac got a bunch of candy from just here, just because people were like, I guess nobody else is coming. So they just
here, take a handful.
Yeah. So it was neat. It was fun.
Good. Glad he had fun. Well, we are now in November, and it won't be too much longer until we are blessed with a new classic console. I'm not sure what it's called. The mini Sony PlayStation, the
PlayStation
Classic, the mini Sony, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. The PlayStation Classic is, I think, the official name.
Yeah, it'll go by many names, I'm sure, as the days go on. And it was kind of teased maybe about month and a half ago, 2 months ago,
Right.
and it displayed 5 games on it. The teaser trailer had Final Fantasy VII, Wild Arms, I think Cool Borders 2, and 2 more.
Tekken.
Tekken and Jumping Flash. Is that it?
Maybe.
Those 5?
Maybe.
Well,
that sounds right.
Either way, it wasn't. It was about maybe like 4 days ago that the full list is here. And tonight on Our Parents' Basement, we are going to talk about this list. Talk about how we feel, our feelings on it, share some feels, and yeah, it's another. Is this going to be another little fun device to own and add to the collection, or is this something that you're just going to be like,
Yeah,
pass?
Is it going to be a yay or a nay? Is it going to be a something or a dud? I don't know.
Yeah.
A blast or a dud. There we go. All right. Well, let's kind of just go through the list, I guess. Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, but when you saw this, was there anything that was a big surprise to you?
Yeah, the biggest surprise for me was the original Persona was on there. Everything else I kind of expected or was kind of let down by. We'll get into that later. But the biggest surprise was definitely the original Persona, which came out, I think 1996, 97. And I cannot imagine that game aging very well. From what little I've seen of it played, it is a very, very grindy RPG. But at the same time, I mean, it's Persona and it has its fans. And I think that will be, for like, if you're an RPG fan, I think that's going to be the thing that will lure you to the PlayStation Classic, mainly because it's so hard to find a decent copy of the original Persona nowadays. So that was my biggest surprise. How about you?
I'm going to say my biggest surprise is not even what's on here. It's an omission. I'm going to say that the fact that Symphony of the Night is not on here is a disappointment. That's been the biggest, most comment I've heard about this, is that just they're disappointed that Symphony of the Night's not on here. Yeah, and then there's like just weird things on, like Rainbow Six. Why is Rainbow Six on here? Was that like a huge PlayStation hit?
Dude, I can't remember the last time I heard the franchise Rainbow Six. Like, when I first heard of it, I'm like, this game sounds stupid, and it was just looked like a generic shooting game.
Well, I had the original Rainbow Six for PC about 100 years ago, and it was fun. It was like the first time I'd played a serious, like, squad based tactical. You've got to give your squad direction to advance or hold or whatever else. So it was something different, and I mean, I liked it. I wasn't good at it. I'm not good at it at all. But it was, I mean, it's an okay game, but I can't imagine that aging very well either. Most of these PlayStation games, in my opinion, are gonna suck because they don't age well. PS1 games, there's a handful that are really good, but for the most part, not so much, man.
I think you really hit the nail on the head with not even that system, but that era. Like PS1, N64, Saturn, and maybe something else that came around that time during those years. Those games, a lot of them were experimental with the new 3D technology, and they didn't control very well. So though I can't see this library being very fun to dive into. When you look at the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic, I mean, 2D gaming is always going to be, what's the word? Approachable, fun, approachable, easy to get into. Doesn't take too much meddling with the controls to get. These games, a lot of them are in 3D. A lot of them look just like piss ugly. So I just can't see a lot of these being played them for more than a minute or two, just to say, hey, let's try this. Sucks. Move on. Next.
That's really how I feel about that. Like the Super Nintendo Classic. And admittedly, I am a Nintendo fanboy, so I'm gonna preface this with that I really like Nintendo games. I'm also a 2D fanboy, but you get into these 3D games, and this was a bad era for games. It's my least favorite generation of games. There's some Nintendo 64 games that I like. Like I really like the wrestling games, the Nintendo 64. But other than that, I haven't played Symphony of the Night yet, even though I finally broke down and bought it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation 4 and play it on that whenever I get done with Red Dead. But that's a different story. This generation of games is just not good. They were trying the 3D and everything has to be in 3D. And I've said this on this podcast before. If y'all follow this any length of time, you've heard how much I dislike my distaste, my disdain for
disdain even.
That's a big word, right?
Yeah.
I've been trying to expand my vocabulary. Anyways, I may not even be using that word correctly.
No, you are. You're good.
But these games, they weren't good. They weren't, they tried something. They were really trying to push for this 3D and it doesn't work. You have a handful of those games like Mario 64 works kind of. It's one of my least favorite Mario games, but it kind of works. Conker's Bad Fur Day, because there's a lot of fart jokes.
Yeah.
It works. And there's like boob jokes, which I'm into, you know?
Yeah.
There's a shit monster. Come on.
Yeah. He sings opera.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like Tekken is good. You know, it's on this list. I like the Tekken games. Mostly. Well, man, there's a 3D fighters. They're a thing. I like Soul Calibur as well. You know, it's the
Soul Calibur still holds up well.
So it really does. But it was the next generation too, or kind of.
Oh yeah, Dreamcast. Maybe. Well, wait, no, they had Soul Edge or Soul Blade, something, one of those two on the PlayStation, but which was still more fun than Tekken. Can't remember which one it was, but either way.
But I'm trying to go into this with an open mind, and other than that $100 price tag is going to keep me from it. I'm just going to be.
Oh, definitely.
If it was a $60 price tag, I'd probably get one. But the $100 one, like, not so much. But I should have saved that to the end of the show. I should have.
That's okay.
My judgment. But anyways, I'm just talking. So let's go through.
Well, I'm a Sony fan. I'm a Sony fanboy, and you know this very well. I'm also a Nintendo fanboy. So even with my Sony adoration, I'm still kind of just not feeling this right now. We had the list here, and let's just. You want to go through the whole thing, or how do you want to do this?
Let's just go through the list. Let's go one at a time. All right, the first one on the list is Battle Arena Toshiden. Toshiden. All right, I'd kind of forgotten about this game, but
did you even play it?
Well, I'll tell you what, my buddy, whenever we were in high school, my buddy had a PlayStation. I had the Nintendo 64. So I spent a fair amount of time playing some of these games at his place. And this is one of the games that he had. I remember liking it. Okay. I do remember, enjoying this. So I would give it a thumbs up for this. The graphics, I looked at it today. They're not terrible.
Yeah. It's a very, I think it's an important game because it really kind of set a scene for more 3D fighters. Virtua Fighter and Tekken, they had those fisticuffs and martial arts. This one, everyone had like a special weapon and projectiles and all that cool Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat stuff. So
it was a good thing that kind of bridged the gap, because like Tekken and what was the other one you mentioned? Virtua
Fighter. Yeah.
They were especially Tekken got closer to being real. You know, other than you had a grizzly bear and a kangaroo.
Oh, Kuma. Yeah.
And a cyborg. But it got closer to being like an actual fighting game.
Yeah.
We're swinging swords.
This one dude had claws, like this old man had giant claws.
He's like Fong or something like that. Was that it?
Yeah. And he would like move them together. I'm doing this and you can't see me because I have no camera. But you like move them together like Wolverine and create like energy sparks, and it was badass. So
I like that game. It kind of bridged the gap between Street Fighter that was so out there and Tekken.
Yeah.
That was more realistic. You know, we had Mortal Kombat and then we had Virtua Fighter, and this kind of bridged the gap between all those. So I think it was a good choice.
Oh yeah.
I think it's very representative of the time.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right.
I'm on that one.
Yeah. Thumbs up for that one.
The next one we have Cool Borders 2.
Cool Borders 2. Yes. I'm terrible at this game. I'm terrible at the game that came before it, and I think there was a 3, and I was terrible at that too. I'm just terrible at these games, but you know they're pretty fun for a couple minutes.
I played 1080 a lot on Nintendo 64. So when the School Borders came along, I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I like it. I like the whole snowboarding thing, and eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew in the early 2000 or late 90s.
Oh yeah, so late 90s. Yeah,
we had 3D Doritos. It was extreme, so we had to snowboard. So I'm on that one. I like it. It's a fun game. I don't know how well it holds up graphically, and I think it's gonna look like a genital wart, but it's just
so unsightly.
That's bad. That's a bad thing. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say that's not good.
Not good. Okay,
but it's gonna look bad. But I remember it being a fun game.
Okay. Yeah, I remember it. It's one of those games I'm terrible at, like Jet Set Radio. I'm terrible at that game, but they're fun, even though I don't do so well. So it's kind of a weird conundrum. Following that, we have Destruction Derby, which I never played.
I know zero about it, but it sounds awesome.
Okay. Well,
I don't even like it was. I think I've seen the cover. Probably
never seen the cover. Never seen anything about this.
I want to say it's like black and there's like some metal and fire, maybe.
Sweet. Has a good start.
I'm in so far.
Yeah. And then down the list we have, which I mentioned earlier, there's Final Fantasy VII. And as a fan of the series, I can tell you right now, if you're going to play Final Fantasy VII, play the one that's on the PS4 that kind of got revamped for it. Because of all the great quality of life features, I cannot see this one aging too well.
I'm glad they put this one on there. This is going to be a system seller for this one. There's not there. That's the RPG for a lot of people. That is
oh definitely
their favorite one, the favorite story. They remember this game very fondly, and I think it'll sell a lot of systems. And I think it had to be on there.
Can you imagine if it wasn't?
Right.
Oh geez,
you're going to make this. You can kind of get away without Symphony of the Night being on there. I mean, not to me because it's 2D and it's good.
Yeah.
But you can't really get by without putting Final Fantasy VII because that's the game for a lot of PS1 fans.
Yeah. I think, quick aside, Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood kind of got re-released for the PS4 not too long ago.
Yeah,
so maybe that had something to do with it.
That's exactly why it's not on here. Is because I'm assuming
just a thought.
They just released it for PSN. I guess the 26th last Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably not. It wouldn't be on here. So
gotcha. Yeah.
You gotta make money elsewhere.
Oh yeah, they know what they're doing. Then we have Grand Theft Auto. I think the original Grand Theft Auto.
It's the first one. It's the top-down one, I believe.
Oh god, that game is hard.
It is
stupid hard.
They put this on here for name only because it's not a good game.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I
don't see anyone playing it for longer than like 10 minutes.
Honestly. It'll be a novelty, and then you'll have people like going through there looking for Grand Theft Auto 3, and they'll be like, "Oh, Grand Theft Auto!" Like, yo, this isn't Grand Theft Auto at all.
No, this is not even a prototype.
Right. It's like a mini game in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Then we have Intelligent Cube, which I have no idea what that is.
I know people want it. I know.
Really?
People look for it. I don't know why. I don't know anything about the game, so I can't even intelligently say anything about Intelligent Cube.
I see what you did there. I like it. What's next on our list?
Jumping Flash.
Okay.
It was a long box game. I had it at one time. I've never played it.
I
sold it.
Played it, but I remember it being really, really like I can't really play first person shooters, and this game was in a first person perspective, if I'm remembering correctly. And the camera, and you were just trying to jump from platform to platform and make cool acrobatic leaps and things like that. I think it's my memory's fuzzy with this, but I remember not getting very far because I could not look at the TV for too long without getting a little dizzy. So I'm guessing it's on there just the same reason, GTA is, and because it's a what do you call Toshinden? What do you say it was about? Like, what was special about it? Something about the era.
Yeah, it's very representative of the era.
Representative. That's what I was looking for. So that's all I can say about Jumping Flash.
All right. Well, I don't know anything about it, so we're gonna keep going. Now, the next one on the list is another one that I don't know why it's not getting more fanfare, because it was one of the games, in my opinion, that kind of defined the PlayStation, and that is Metal Gear Solid.
Cool game.
A very cool game. The story is amazing. I haven't followed the Metal Gear games since I played this one, and then I was really excited to play Metal Gear Solid 2, and the cutscenes got really long.
Oh, really? Yeah, I played a little bit of this one, and it had some cool ideas, but it was really hard, so I didn't play it for too long. So I was still not very good at gaming.
I really enjoyed Metal Gear Solid, so I'm glad it's on here, and I hope some people discover it and play it, because it's, for some reason, I mean, it's a series that's still going now, but I don't know why it hasn't gotten more fanfare than it has. Then, why? Hey, look, because Final Fantasy VII has been like, hey, it's on the PlayStation Classic.
Right.
Nobody's really pointing to Metal Gear Solid, and I don't understand why.
Yeah. So after that, we have Mr. Driller. Is that a puzzle game?
I've never played Mr. Driller, and I don't know anything about it.
Me either. All right, then. Moving on.
Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. This is another one that's very representative of the time.
Yeah.
This was I never played it, but I remember seeing it, and I remember people being really into it. So I'm glad it's on here.
I am too. I don't know much about the series, but I know fans of the series, and I think they'll be excited about this. It looks like a really fun, quirky adventure title, which seems like it could be fun, so I'm down with that.
I mean, it's, like I said, a good choice. It's representative of the times. That's what, when these classics, that's kind of what you need to go for, is it needs to be representative of the system, and at the same time, not only represent what the system was, have games that are still fun now.
Right. Still fun now is that big. That's what will make us, drop down that many.
Well, that's no joke. That's why the Super Nintendo Classic was so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Super Punch Out is still fun. Super
Megaman
X
is still fun.
Still fun. Castlevania 4 is still fun. All these games are still a blast to play. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody was, they were sold out forever. Now, these games, are they gonna have the same bite, the same pizzazz as the 2D games? I don't know. I'm hoping that there's some kids that are about 30 years old that really love this.
Yeah.
I like these classic systems coming out.
Oh, definitely. They're great ideas.
I would like to see an NES Volume 2. NES Classic Volume 2. Or Super Nintendo, I don't know if you could get enough. I mean, there's enough good games, but they kind of blew their wad on the first party games. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, maybe not, but the classic, I like to see them. I'd like to see an N64 Classic. I'd like to see a Game Boy Classic. Maybe a Dreamcast Classic, possibly. But anyways, we'll talk about that here towards the end. All right, how do you feel about Rayman?
It's one of those series that I just never had a chance to try. But if this is the original Rayman, isn't it a 2D side scroller?
I believe so. That's
this I'd be interested in playing.
Yeah, it absolutely. I played one of the games. I played maybe a Wii U game. I don't know. I played some Rayman game, and it was a blast. It's a 2D. Your guy. No, it was the 3DS one.
Okay.
His hands and feet aren't connected, but
yep. Oh, you know what? I did play one in the series. Yeah, it was for the 360. It was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I think they needed this. This is that, I'm not going to say kid type game, but that whimsical type game.
Yeah, a little youthful.
It's not so serious.
Yeah.
We're playing Grand Theft Auto. That's pretty serious stuff. But when you're playing Rayman, it's okay. Well,
speaking of serious, the next one, Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Another game that had to be on here. This game was huge. It's huge. It's so huge.
Yeah, I just cannot see this being very fun right now to play at all.
Okay, it doesn't have the DualShock, which this game benefited hugely from the DualShock controllers.
Oh God, yeah.
But You can't go back and play the first Resident Evil. You can't. It's not good. It's a super fun game, and it was very, very good at the time.
At the time, right there.
But our lives have gotten better. Like, we've improved and we've evolved. We've progressed as a people, as gamers, and as a society. And we left Resident Evil, director's cut or not, in the past.
Yep. I tried playing the original again because I had the Saturn version, and I was like, I cannot do this. This is just too clunky. So, good news. I sold it for a little bit of a profit. Score. Yeah.
I didn't like it because the camera is set. Like you're looking at a security camera up in the corner.
Yeah.
And then you have to try to make your guy walk, and it didn't work right. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But it's very tense.
Turn, walk, turn, walk, turn, walk, like, just walk like a normal person,
If I push up, I just want to go up. Okay.
Right.
Is that too much to ask?
So
I think it's going to be it's a game that needed to be included because it is very important for the PlayStation. It's very representative of the time, and it was a very good game. But it'll be one of those that people play and like, I remember this being better.
Yeah,
it's going to be like Pepsi Clear and Zima.
Crystal clear Pepsi.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And it's going to be like Zima. Like,
oh god, that is so awesome. 90s.
Right,
love it.
But people remember it being awesome, but if you drank it now, it'd be like, this sucks terribly.
Yeah. Oh man, this is just a throwback episode. I love it.
We talked about Persona.
Yeah, we already talked about Persona. So following that, we have Ridge Racer Type 4, which I'm guessing is a racing title.
I would say so. That's a safe bet.
Which I never played, so no comment.
The next one is a surprise for me. I didn't know this was big enough to make the cut. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Did you ever play any of these?
Never played any of them ever.
They're fun. They're little puzzle games.
Are they? Okay.
People, and you got little chibi style guys that are from Street Fighter. So yeah, it's very, very cool. It's a fun game. So I think I'm glad it was included, but I don't know why it's included,
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Following that, we have Syphon Filter, which I'm guessing it has like that same reputation as Rainbow. Is Rainbow Six on here?
Yeah, Rainbow Six is on there. Syphon Filter.
There it is. Yeah.
It was closer to like Metal Gear Solid because it was a little like, there's a little fantasy, little sci-fi to it.
Okay.
But, so it's an all right game. And once again, it's kind of representative of the PlayStation. It was very, very big.
Well, I remember a while ago on the PSN, if you have PlayStation Plus, you can download Syphon Filter 2, and Syphon Filter 3 for free. So if there's that many games in the series, I'm wondering why they didn't do like what I'm guessing is the third and most polished of the three.
I think the first one's probably the most popular.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
The first one is my little brother, I don't know, it was about the time I was in college. I might have moved out. I don't know. He came across a PlayStation. I don't know where he got it. Somebody gave it to him. I think somebody we went to church with got a PS2 and they gave him his PS1.
Oh, sweet.
About certain that's how it went.
Yeah.
Anyways, he had Syphon Filter and he played it a little bit and he liked it. So, all right, cool.
Yeah. What's next?
Tekken 3.
That game, I could still see that game being pretty fun.
As far as I remember, Tekken is still fun. I think it's still good. I think I played one of them not too long ago, and it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah. You remember the days of service merchandise when they had the consoles on display?
You bet.
Yeah. Well, my first time holding a PlayStation controller was at a KB toy store, and the original Tekken was the game they had in the console.
Right.
So I've had some experience with Tekken. I always thought that Tekken 2 was the most popular, not Tekken 3.
I think Tekken 2 is probably more popular. Tekken 3 is probably more polished.
That makes sense.
Probably better. I think more people had Tekken 2. And this is one of the games that my buddy had when he had Tekken 1 and Tekken 2. I don't know if he had 3. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I'm not even going to pretend. But we played a lot of Tekken back in the day. So I'm on board with this. This needs to be, the other game, the other systems had like Street Fighter and things like that, and PlayStation had Tekken, and they hung their hat on that, so it needed to be included.
Oh, sure, yeah. Following Tekken 3, we have
Rainbow Six.
Yeah, so I have
Why?
no idea what these games are about. But I see Tom Clancy, so I'm guessing they're spy oriented.
They're squad-based tactical shooters.
Okay.
They're serious in nature, and I'm not good at them. So because I want to go in there and kick the door down and shoot everybody, but this, you've got
this is a game.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, but this is for the more serious gamer, I guess, and I don't know. Maybe it was bigger than I thought, but I remember it being a PC game, so I don't know why it's on this list, but whatever.
Following that, Twisted Metal. Now
this had to be included. Absolutely, you could not make this system without Twisted Metal. Dude, we've got a killer clown in an ice cream truck shooting machine guns.
Sweet tooth.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ. This is what video games are. This is a 13-year-old boy's wet dream.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yes, Twisted Metal had to be on here, and I'm glad it's included. It's good. It's fantastic. I don't know if it holds up because I hadn't played it in 20 years, but it was badass when me and Carl and his little brother Patrick were playing it.
The thing is, I always thought Twisted Metal 2 was the better of them, and you can play them in out of order. There's no story to worry about. So,
and they're Sony games, aren't they?
Yeah, I think.
So why are we not putting 2 on there?
Yeah, that's the thing. Twisted Metal 2 is the du jour, So I mean, that would have been my pick if we're doing.
I think that would have
been
everybody's pick.
Yeah, I mean, because that one, I know. I mean, you talked about Sweet Tooth, the killer clown, and I think he's already available from the start in that game. Whereas in Twisted Metal 1, you have to put in a code to unlock him.
Oh, really?
There's other things. I think. I want to say you do.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But no, I mean, let's be real here. The idea is great. Just cars, guns, blowing shit up.
Yeah, and it was a death match in cars. You blew up and then you came back and you just tried to kill each other.
Try it again.
It was awesome. It was amazing. I mean, it's what video games are about. So light everything on fire and shoot it with a machine gun. It's Twisted Metal.
Yeah, absolutely.
They should let me review games, right?
They should.
It's a 13-year-old boy's wet dream. Put that on the box.
Oh man! And last but not least, we have Wild Arms. Now, this game I would say, still probably holds up well. It's just very classic. It has random battles. It has a more basic presentation, but it's a fun game. I played it for the first time. No, what I meant to say was I finished it for the first time not too long ago and had a blast with it. So, and if it's not your thing, you can at least do a trick to duplicate your items and become insanely powerful and just breeze through it to enjoy the story.
I'm on board with that.
So, yeah, Wild Arms. I think that's a good pick. That would not be the first. Again, I would have gone with the second game, but I'm not the one in charge calling the shots. So yeah. Did you play that one?
No, I didn't know.
Never played it? Okay.
No. That's all you, man. You get to talk about this. I get to talk about killer clowns. You talk about the RPGs.
No, I liked Twisted Metal. I had a fun play. I got my ass kicked.
Oh, I was horrible at it.
Yeah.
But me and my buddies played it a lot, so we had a good time.
What was that saying we had? Winners stay, winners stay, losers pray, or whatever. Either way, I was always a loser, so I always had to hand the controller off to the next person. Wait my turn again. Get blown up again. Rinse, wash, repeat. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
All right. So we've got this list. We've got some good, some bad, some what? So
some good, some bad. All pretty much ugly.
Is there any? Yeah, they're all going to be hideous. The good, the bad, and they're all ugly. That should be on the box.
Yeah.
We should get into marketing.
That should be our episode title. Yeah, we should get into marketing now. That was good teamwork. Yeah.
The good, the bad, and they're all ugly. So, what do you think should have maybe been added to this list? There's the obvious ones that we could have done without, but what's something that they missed? You're more of a PlayStation guy, more of a Sony guy, so you probably have more experience with this. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. Well, you mentioned Symphony of the Night, which is a given.
I lamented
Um,
Symphony of the Night.
yeah, Megaman X4. I think that would have been good. Instead of like another one of these 3D shooting games, put in a classic Mega Man, and Mega Man X4 is a fan favorite, so there's that. Tenchu, the first Tenchu should have been on there. I think that game. You want to talk about representative of the time and being difficult as hell. I mean, Tenchu really set the bar for what a ninja game could be. Um, Street Fighter Alpha, or I think it's Street Fighter Alpha 3 is the one that's on the PlayStation. Whatever one was on there. I mean, we need a fighting game. We have Tekken, we have Toshinden, but we need a 2D fighter as well. And Street Fighter Alpha, my God, I thought that'd be an obvious choice. Final Fantasy 7, I'm fine with, but I'm really surprised there's no Gran Turismo. Like
that was a big shocker. That was probably the biggest one.
Yeah, like that, I think, and don't quote me on this, is the top-selling PlayStation game of all time. That racing game.
You're right. How is it not on there? Because it's a Sony game, isn't it?
Either they just were dumb, or they would have to go through some licensing with the cars. I'm not sure how all that works.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It had real cars in it.
Oh, it did? Okay.
It had actual name brand Nissan Sentras in it.
Okay, see that
Sentras in it, but
I didn't see that. I did not know.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so that was an obvious choice. Trying to think what else would have been good on there. You know, with the RPG count, I think like I love my PlayStation RPGs, obviously, but the ones that are on there are fine. I would have put Persona 2 instead of the first Persona on there, only because Persona 2 is much more playable. But again, not my choice. Yeah, that's about all I can think of for now. What about you? Did you have any contenders?
Man, yes, there's like I put something out there on Face World on Face World earlier, and Sean Thomas and Ricky Westbrook both kind of came. They both chimed in. The guys from
Hi guys
from Not So Southern Gentlemen. They Ricky was really, of course, no Sympathy of the Night. Yeah, we're on board with that.
Yeah,
but then like Resident Evil 1 instead of no Resident Evil 2. That was a big PlayStation game, but I think Resident Evil 2 had to have the dual shock, right?
Well, I don't think it did, but Resident Evil 2 is getting that remake coming soon anyway. So I guess they didn't want to double dip or something.
Didn't want to spoil the pod, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was that. And one that, and it's a licensing, I know, but Tony Hawk.
Oh, good one. Yeah, definitely.
Those games were so good. They were, especially Tony Hawk 2 was that game was fun, but it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive by any means. I actually had it for Nintendo 64.
Okay.
So yeah, that may be why that, and you've got all those real skateboarders in there that you could.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
You had Tony Hawk. I mean, I guess but you'd had to go back and change names and likenesses and all that. So sure. Maybe not but it is a fantastic game.
Oh yeah. And again, I was terrible at it, but man, and who didn't want to try a skateboard in real life after playing Tony Hawk? I mean,
me, because I've wiped out a bunch in the game.
You wiped out a bunch before or after Tony Hawk? In
the game. And okay. I saw how bad it looked like it hurt that dude, and it wasn't even real.
Yeah, I was wondering like how they got up so quickly, from all the damage I caused them.
Yeah, I was looking. Gran Turismo does have actual cars in it, so that's why it didn't make the cut. Would be my guess.
Oh, I thought of another one. Silent Hill, the original. That game I think is scarier than Resident Evil by a landslide. So I mean, I don't know if you want to add some flavor to
some sugar and spice.
Yeah, some scary sugar and spice to the whole thing. I would do Silent Hill instead of Resident Evil. Personally.
Okay. I think Resident Evil is probably more well known.
Oh, Oh God, definitely.
So you've got to think of the audience. They're trying to sell this to everybody, not necessarily me and you. So yeah, but then again, they put something like Mr. Driller on there that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, Intelligent Cube. I still don't know what the hell that is. I'll look it up later, but weird choice. That's definitely a weird choice.
But I mean, there's a few things that they've left out, a few things that they may have, like the Twisted Metal 2. Why did they not put that on there? Why did they not put Resident Evil 2? I think there's some hits and some misses on here.
Yeah, I agree.
They have some games that are, like we said, representative of the era.
Yes,
they are
that good era.
Well, that bad era.
The bad.
I hope it does well. I really do, because I want to see more of these classic systems. I like them. I like the built-ins that are done well. Like, I would like to see a good Genesis.
I thought
there's been a bunch of them, but made them and they sucked.
Something is coming out that is along these same lines. It's made by the same creators behind these classic systems. It's not going to have it's not going to be like an emulator by any chance, by any means. But it's more like you plug your cartridges into it, but it also plays Sega CD, and I think it also plays Mega Drive. I think that's what it's called. I have to look for that link. I will send it to you after the show, and then you can share it on our Twitter or Facebook or that whole thing. Sound good?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's all right. So we've got this these classics. We've got the NES, Super Nintendo, PlayStation Classic. What would you like to see next?
Ooh, good one. Not a PS2 classic, because there's so many goddamn games in that system. Ooh, duh, a Saturn classic. Yeah, okay. I want to see that.
I'm not mad at that. Where do you think the cutoff is on these classic systems? Do you think like PlayStation era is as far as it can go?
I think for now, I know that the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, the technology to emulate that would be very, very advanced. I mean, hell, the technology for a Nintendo 64 Classic would be very, very advanced, but I know that fans are wanting it. So I think the cutoff point would indeed be like that PS2 era.
It's like, now I think once you got PS2 games, it's hard to play casually. These classic systems, in my opinion, are built for casual players. They're built for for us to play, for even guys that may be more apt to play games, to play casually. So I think the cutoff is probably, this is just my opinion, would be that right here, PlayStation is the cutoff. Possibly getting up into Dreamcast, because it has that very arcadey feel, and you could definitely get by with it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I think the Dreamcast would be perfect for these classic systems, but I think that's right there's the cutoff, kind of what we call retro. We use the same cutoff for that.
I know, makes us feel old, but yeah.
When you get into like retro game collecting and retro game shopping, Xbox and PlayStation 2 are kind of the cutoff. So, and GameCube gets this weird pass. I don't know how, but I guess it was Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I think we could benefit from a Dreamcast. Sorry, my brain quit for a second.
Is that what your choice would be? A Dreamcast classic?
Would probably be or a Genesis when done well.
Yeah.
I think those are the two that we need.
Those would be good to have. If there was a Genesis one, that'd be the one actually I have the most interest in, because I didn't grow up with Genesis. So that'd be a good opportunity for me to, get some history.
There's a lot of really good Genesis games, and once again, the Super Nintendo or Nintendo fanboy here. If we could just do away with Sonic, because Sonic sucks.
Yeah.
But
Sonic.
There's Contra, there's Castlevania, there's like games like Rystar and Decap Attack and
Vector Man,
Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah,
there's so many good.
Phantasy Star 4, I heard was great.
So yeah, I mean, there's just as good a selection of. You could get 20 games just like you did this PlayStation. I think you could do better than this PlayStation with a Genesis Classic, or Mega Drive Classic, whatever anybody wants to call it.
So, still not convinced you're gonna buy it day one then?
I'll buy one if I find one on the Facebook yard sale for $50. That's just
Yeah. That's how I'm feeling right now about it.
Put them on clearance because I just don't see $100. I don't see it selling well.
Yeah, $100. I mean, honestly, one of the games on there, Persona, is about $100 nowadays, if not more. But it's not a very good game. That's just one of those badge of honors that collectors like to, display.
If you take like these PlayStation 4, and I know we've been kind of celebrating this and whatever else and saying that it's pretty decent, but the rest of these games, the 20 of them, that would be what, $5 a piece?
Yeah.
My math. Would you give $5 for most of these games?
Most of them, yeah.
Okay.
Because like Mr. Driller, I never heard of that. Intelligent Cube, never.
I would give $5 for Mr. Driller just because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Just on the simple fact that I've never heard of it and it's good enough to be included in these 20 games. I'm on board. I'd give $5 for it right now.
Sure.
Would I give $5 for Rainbow Six? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So, that's most of these games you could probably get. Syphon Filter, I would not give $5 for.
Yeah. I got mine for free on the PSN. I still feel like I paid too much.
Yeah, Destruction Derby, absolutely not. I would not pay $5 for that. But then there's games, there's Wild Arms, and there's Final Fantasy VII that you're going to get a lot of mileage out of.
Yeah, definitely. Wild Arms, I think, is about maybe 35 to 40 hours of gameplay. And Final Fantasy VII, my God, you can play that for up to 100 hours if you want to do everything. So there's value there for your buck if you haven't played them yet, and for some reason you don't feel like playing them in some other way,
Emulate it. Excuse me. Sorry, I had something in my throat.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. All
right, cool.
So there you go. That's the PlayStation Classic, man. It may be a yay, it may be a nay. If you're a yay, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter at OPB Podcast. Let us know on Facebook, facebook.com/OPB Podcast.
Nice.
You can hit it. We're trying to be more active on the Instagram, so be sure to do that too.
Oh, I follow OPB, by the way, so you got to follow me back.
Oh, did I not?
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's all those ways to get in touch with us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if these are the games for you. If they're not the game, what you would like to have seen. That's another good conversation we could have out there in the cyberspace. So hit us up on all those places. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, there's 117 others. This is number 118, and it's right here on YouTube. But if the audio only is really where it's at, you can download it on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify. You name it, we're there, man. Just download these podcasts, take them with you, put us on your hip, and go for a jog.
Nice.
So,
nice idea.
There y'all go. I appreciate y'all listening. Philip, you got anything to add, man?
Hopefully next week I'll have a camera that's working. But thanks for putting
I hope
up with
you have
me.
a camera that's working, and I hope Charles is around.
And I hope Charles is here. Oh yeah, hey Charles.
We missed Charles this whole time, so we did. This is supposed to be a tripod cast, and we did the bipod. So, anyways, if that's all we got, I'm gonna give you some deuces. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. However you do it, there you go. And I'm gonna hit that button.
Have a good